What up, fam? Today we're gonna be making some slow cooker Italian meatballs and marinara sauce. As always, if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit that notification bell so you know every time I drop a recipe. All right, let's get into it. All right, so what you see me now doing is I have some, these are just hamburger buns. It's like a pack of great value hamburger buns from Walmart. I took the whole pack, shredded it up because we don't eat a lot of bread around here. So I just bought like a cheap, those were like 88 cents. And yeah, so I just shredded the whole thing. If you have like some old bread, not old bread, but just like a loaf of bread around that you just use the rest of it, you can crumble it up, or just maybe some hamburger buns you got left over from the weekend. Y'all was grilling out. And yeah, so that's what I do. So then I took some milk. Now granted, I used this whole pack of hamburger buns, which I think was like 8 buns or so. And they're pretty small. But for the amount of meatballs I'm making, it's I just used the whole pack. You can probably use a little less. And then I took some milk. I took probably about a cup of milk and poured it over the top. And then what you see me doing is just pressing the bread down into it. And I let that sit for about 5 to 10 minutes till the bread absorbed most of the milk. And then I took a whisk and I just went and, gave it a good stir, really just trying to make it into like kind of like a paste, so to speak. It's gonna be a little loose, but really just kind of like trying to just smash the bread up together till it comes out kind of like this. See what I mean? So after that's done, I'm going in with some beef. Now this is 85-15 beef because I'm going to be using 85-15 pork as well. You don't have to use pork. I know a lot of people don't like pork or whatever, but for this particular recipe, Italian meatballs, is going to help keep everything moist. And so like you can use an 80-20 beef. I wouldn't use anything with a higher fat ratio than that. And I wouldn't even try to use anything much more leaner than the 85-15, simply because the name of the game when you're making meatballs is moisture. So you want to keep them moist. So yeah, after that, you see me going in with the 85-15 ground pork. Now guys, this is probably about 2 pounds of each. So altogether, it's gonna be 4 pounds. It's gonna make 4 pounds of meatballs. Now the meatballs I'm gonna be making are gonna be fairly large. Yeah, because that's the way I wanted them. But the good thing about this recipe is you can use the same amount of meat to make the meatballs, but you don't have to make the same size meatballs. So if you want to make small meatballs, average size, then cool. If you want to make big ones, that's fine. So see, right now I'm going in with some garlic powder, some onion powder. For this amount, I'm probably using about 3 tablespoons of each, maybe 4 tablespoons, I'll say, because I did kind of eyeball it. And then I went in with some paprika. That's probably about 1.5 tablespoons of paprika. Just to give it that little sweet taste, not too much. Right here I have some Italian seasoning, and I'm gonna be pretty generous with that. Probably use about 1/8 of a cup of Italian seasoning. And then after that, I went in with some black pepper. I recommend using coarse ground black pepper, but regular black pepper is fine. I think I use the restaurant style. So then after, I went in with some salt. Now that is probably about 3 tablespoons of salt with all of what I have. I didn't use too much salt because I'm going in next with this Parmesan cheese. And I just used 1 small container of Parmesan, grated Parmesan cheese, which, if cheese is salty, Parmesan cheese is salty. So with that being in there, I didn't want to use too much salt. But like I said, this is about 4 to 4.5 pounds of meat. So, and beef loves seasoning, okay? Whenever you're making steaks or ground beef, it really needs that seasoning. So right here, you just see me taking my bare, clean hands, by the way, and trying to incorporate the breadcrumb mixture along with all the seasonings and the cheese. The important part here is you see me kind of just pressing in, and then I'm going to take my hand and scoop and kind of like whip and then press in again. You don't see me doing a lot of really fast work, and that's because if you work this too much, it's going to make your meatballs too firm. and then they get dry that way. The whole name of the game is to keep these jokers moist and tender. Okay, so that's pretty much when I got about done. Right here, you're gonna see me take a fork, and what I always like to do when I make any type of meatloaf, any meatballs, anything like that, is I fry a little bit in a skillet before I go with my final product. I put this in slow motion because for some reason I only got a 1-second clip. But yeah, I just fry it and I taste to make sure it's seasoned correctly. If not, I'll go and add a little bit more of the salt, pepper, whatever I need to add. And then if it's good, I just move on. So right here, you see me taking this, it's like 1/3 of a cup. This is how big I want my meatballs. And so that's an easy way for me to measure them out, make sure they're all even. And then I just roll. From there, I just roll into a ball. Boom, boom, ain't gotta be perfect. And then I put it on a plate and yeah, roll the rest. So that's how that's looking like. You're just gonna see me kind of speed this part up right here. It's just me rolling out all of the meatballs, getting them prepped, because after this I'm gonna go and brown them. So yeah, just pretty much just taking that 1/3 of a cup scooper and measuring them out into the size I want. Don't have to be perfect. Some probably have a little bit more, a little less. It's fine, you know. And so after that, I put it in the skillet, you see. And then I just put probably about 3 in at a time, just for the size that I had. I'm just gonna brown them on each and every side. Now I have to be delicate with these because they're on the bigger side, so they are softer. So if I do not, if I just throw them around, then I run a chance of breaking them apart. But yeah, I just wanted to brown these on every side because it's gonna create depth of flavor, and it's gonna actually help them hold together when they're cooking in the sauce to begin with. So these are some smaller ones. I did just make some smaller ones just so you guys can see that you don't have to make them all the same size. And so yeah, I just browned those the same way that I did the big ones, you know, in this hot pan. Make sure your pan is piping hot, because that's going to get a good sear on that meat and really help the meatballs hold together and lock in that moisture and all the juices. All right, guys, so that's when I'm done. You see, got that nice crust on each side of the meatball. Boom. Crock pot, slow cooker. And got them all in there just like that, nestled together. They don't have to be all free or whatever. Just get them in there. And then from there, I got my homemade marinara sauce. I will post a recipe for this marinara sauce, so you guys stay tuned. Once the recipe is posted, I will link it in this video. So the camera actually cut off when I was pouring it in there, so all I did was take that homemade marinara and pour it right over into the crock pot. You can do this on high or low. It really doesn't matter. I just kept my slow cooker on low because usually when I'm slow cooking, I'm not in a rush, period. So this is going to probably be about 5-6 hour recipe. So what you just see me doing here is just kind of just like moving some of the top ones around. I'm just going to shake it in there. I don't want to pick them up and then do too much work with them because they are just seared, and the big ones, they are likely to come apart if I try to like mess with them. So I just shook that pot around, put the lid on for the first couple hours, let them cook, and then I came back after a couple hours when they probably started to firm up a little bit more. They've been cooking a little longer, and I just kind of move them around in the pot. You see that? Just move them around just like so. And then I'm just gonna cover them back up and let them continue to cook. You know what I'm saying? Let them do their thing. The whole point of these meatballs is you don't want to mess with them too much. All right, guys, so this is the end result. You can enjoy these how you want to. We decided to make like a little Texas toast meatball sub. I did make that Texas toast. By the way, I will link a recipe once I have it up. And then, yeah, so this is how we decided to enjoy it. You can enjoy them, you know, just like just like that in a bowl. You can put them with pastas, however you want to. This is, you know, just meatballs and marinara, so however you want to eat it. So yeah, like I said, we just made a nice little sandwich out of these. Just smash that joker down. Ooh, it was so good. Okay, it was buzzing. All right, y'all see it. Look at it. I can eat it right now. I can eat it again. So all I did right here was I just cut it in half just so you can see the inside of the meatballs. And yeah, so this is these are slow cooked for probably about 6 to 7 hours. Y'all see? Ooh, look at the juice. Look at the juice. Oh, perfectly moist. These were not dry at all. At all. So anyway, that concludes the recipe. Right here you just see the finished product. These are the meatballs. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and hashtag the cannons if you haven't already. That's our mukbang channel. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Peace, love, always.